Greetings, fellow makers. Welcome. This is the real Melky. Welcome back to my factory. Sorry, I'm not awake yet. Much better. Okay. Greetings, fellow makers. This is the real Melky. Welcome back to my factory. A few days ago, we made the torso part of the Epyon Gundam cosplay. Today, we're going to make the abs. That's this part right here, the red stuff. And the black. And I'll figure out something out for this. So, let's get started. Greetings, fellow makers! Welcome back to my factory. I forgot to introduce myself. For this build, we're going to need some 4mm foam. That's this stuff right here. Some 8mm foam right here. Some pattern pieces. I just kind of looked at the piece here and imagined what it would look like and drew it. You will also need a marker of some sort, a weight to weigh your pattern pieces down onto your foam so you can trace it out. While this bevel cutter is not exactly necessary, it is very useful. Especially if you're like me and your hand kind of shakes a little bit. You will also need an Exacto knife with an extremely sharp blade, a box cutter, again, very sharp blade. You will need a rotary tool of some sort. Rotary tool of some sort. A heat gun to seal your foam. A dust mask. And a face shield for when you're using the rotary tool so the foam doesn't fly into your eyes and nose and mouth. Because that's not good. We don't want that. And we'll be using some contact cement to glue the foam pieces together, as well as a respirator to make sure you don't breathe in any harmful toxins. Because, like I said, like the name suggests, harmful toxins are not good to breathe. So don't do it. Alright. I think that's everything. Let's get started. Okay, that's not quite everything. I'm going to be using my bandsaw for the 8mm foam, but if you don't have a bandsaw, a box cutter will work just as well. Just make sure it is extremely sharp. Now we can get started. Let's heat seal some foam, shall we? Yeah. This is the 4mm foam. So I'm moving pretty quickly because I don't want to keep the heat gun in the same place for too long, because then the heat will go all the way through the foam and start to warp it and curl it in a way that I don't want to happen. So be aware of that, and yeah. Just be careful, keep the heat gun moving. Yeah, you'll seal up all those pores. And we're just going to do this for this piece and this piece. So, I'll be back when that's done. Alright. Foam is all heat sealed and we're ready to cut it out. But before we do that, what I do is make a practice cut just to see if the blade is still sharp enough to be used. This blade looks like it has a few more cuts in it, so we're going to go. Now, you'll notice letters and arrows and whatnot. Well, the arrows indicate a bevel cut is needed. They also indicate which way the blade needs to go into the foam. So, I'm not going to be using this to make the bevel cut because my hand kind of wanders a little bit. But an arrow pointing away from the edge means the blade needs to go in like that. Arrow pointing towards the edge means the arrow needs to go in like that. Blade needs to go in like that. Yeah. Which words are hard. But I usually make my vertical cuts first and then come back with the bevel cutter. So here we go. Make sure the cut's nice and clean. Also, on edges that don't have any letters or arrows beside them, I usually cut on the outside of my Sharpie line. That way it'll give me a little bit of extra rotary tool room. And now I'll get the bevel cutter and show you how that works. What you do is you just install the blade, move it to the appropriate depth, and like I said, normally I do all my bevel cuts at the same time and all the angles at the same time, but this is just to show you what that's like. Again, you want a nice clean cut all the way through your foam. And when you're making a bevel cut, it is cutting a little bit more foam because there's more foam there. So be aware of that. And then we have our piece. Set that aside, and I'm going to cut out the rest of this. So this is my bandsaw. This is a very useful, somewhat dangerous tool, unless you're using it correctly. Now, before we throw all the foam in here and all that stuff, public safety announcement. Because this blade moves really fast, the foam dust is going to fly all over the place. So, be wearing a dust mask. And a face shield. Okay, now, again, the blade moves really fast, so keep your hands away from the blade, at least as far away as possible. Now, we're going to put it on and go for it. Like that. Now, I have to put this little one on the phone. You need to be really careful because this this is small enough to get stuck between the blade and the table. So, like I said, just be extremely careful and go as slow as you need to. And there we go. By the way, this is what can happen when you don't cut all the way through your foam. So we'll have to do that later. But now we're just going to cut these out and we'll be back when that's done. It's been about 10 minutes and things are ready to be glued together. So let's move some of this stuff out of the way. Actually, we'll glue these pieces together. Move these things out of the way. Okay. Start by gluing pieces 1 and 2 together along edge B. Now, you notice I cut these at angles that go away from the edge. That will allow me to do this. Fold the pieces together to make part of a box. And now we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Make sure the edges are nice and flush and you have good contact. And then fold them together like that. And now I'm going to do that to the rest of the pieces. All right, the torso is pretty much done. Need to add some details and clean up the edges a little bit, but so far it's looking pretty good. I just need a way to temporarily connect it to this piece right here, the torso. I'm thinking magnets for that. But that will have to wait for another video because this is the end of this one. So, thank you very much for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, share if you want. Also, if you have any questions or comments, ways to improve this, let me know in the comments. I will be happy to read them and get back to you. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great day, and I will see you in the next video.